Furtick here. Abby Furtick, she's complaining about the sun, so she stole someone's sunglasses. We're here at Target, and we're gonna do a Target summer reading YouTube book edition. And I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite books that are in Target, and Abby's gonna talk about some of her favorite books. And also, Book Club hat is now available. You can get it at hollyfurtick.com. It's only 20 bucks. Let's go see what they got in Target.
Okay, if you're wanting an epic story, it's gonna take you all the way through summer. I did really love Covenant of Water. Oprah says this is in her top 3 books of all time. It is very long, but very worth it. Here's a book club book, and Paget, if you like audiobooks, this is narrated by Meryl Streep, and it's an excellent audiobook. This is a book about a mom telling her daughters the story of her life. Maid, great read. A girl with special needs who ends up living by herself and working by herself. It's kind of a mystery and she gets accused of stuff. This is a great one. It's a short one and you'll like it. Okay, Tomorrow, if you like video games, which I don't even like video games, but I love this book. But it's about these people who create a video game. Great characters, really good story. This book is probably in my top 20. Lessons in chemistry, very quirky, very, 1960s female scientist, talking dog in the book, which you're gonna be like, oh, I don't do talking animals, but it works. Let's see what else you got. This is what the new year should be. Okay, if you want a light summer beach book, this book is hilarious. And it's about female friendships, and it's about a pair of shoes. A pair of red bottom Louis Vuitton shoes. And the whole story centers around that pair of shoes. If you like fashion, if you like books that are kind of funny, I loved this book. Okay, you want a mystery? This is Ruth, Ware, It Girl, and it's like a college dorm murder situation. Very good. This book, I talked about this on book club one time. This is like a retelling of the Ted Bundy murders. It's like a fictional retelling of one of the witnesses, the woman who actually put him in jail. It never mentions Ted Bundy's name. I thought this was so interesting because at the end of the book, the author says she never mentioned Ted Bundy's name because she feels like these serial killers get celebrated and we never talk about the women that they killed. So this was interesting, a little bit slower pace. All the Light We Cannot See, this is a classic. It's about a blind girl during World War II. And there's also a Netflix series on it, and it's also really good. Okay, this book is one of my probably top 5 all time. This was a book club book. We got to talk to Barbara Kingsolver. It's won the Pulitzer Prize. This is about a kid in Appalachia during the opioid epidemic. And I'm telling you, you want a page turner, but kind of a tough read, but a really great story. It's also a retelling of Charles Dickens' book that's called David Copperfield. It's called David Copperhead. And brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You will love this book. This is Remarkably Bright Creatures. You can go back and search for the interview. Also, you can watch the interview with me with Barbara Kingsolver. It was awesome. But I got to talk to Shelby about her book. It's kind of like a mystery with the octopus talks. Again, I'm not really a talking animal fan, but sometimes authors really pull it off. And this is one of them. This is a great, sweet story. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is Daisy Jones and the Six. This one is kind of like a loose-based fictional situation of Fleetwood Mac, and it's all told by the different characters. Excellent audiobook. Where the Crawdads Sing. This is a very well-known book. The book was way better than the movie. I loved this book. A girl who gets accused of a murder, and she lives kind of like in the woods or the swamp of North Carolina all by herself. Excellent, excellent. Love this story. So, Kristin Hannah, this is her newest book. I got to interview her about this. This is about the nurses in the Vietnam War. Such a good story. Kristin Hannah is like one of my top 3 authors. I've read so many of her books. So if you want to watch the interview, read this book, watch the interview. Excellent. Also, The Four Winds. So this one's women in Vietnam. This one's women in the Great Depression. And this is about a single mom in the Great Depression who is doing anything she can for her children to eat. And Kristin Hannah always makes me cry. I don't know where Abby. There's Abby. I was just about to say I don't know where Abby went.
Okay, this is not my aisle.
I know. Hold on. We're gonna go to your aisle in a second. There's another book club book, The Lost Apothecary. This is a mystery. This one takes place in London, 18th century. If you like books about getting back at the bad guys, this is a great one. Great female, strong characters. This is another book club book by Laura Dave. Also a show on Apple TV Plus. Great, fast-paced,
mystery. This woman's husband like disappears and she has to figure out where he went. I loved this book, and you can go watch my interview with her. Silent Patient, one that a lot of people have read. If you like a psychological thriller, this is a great one. Super fast paced, a little twist in the end. I enjoyed this book.
Let's go over here. The Girl Scouts of Murder. It's a murder mystery. I think they're each different mysteries. I'm in like the middle of this one. This one is super good. A little bit fast-paced, I'd say, but it's really good. Not slow at all. The Summer Time Party. There's 3 books in this series. I don't think they have all of them. This is very popular. Series.
I read that. I read the first one. I don't read sequels.
I read all 3. I thought it was great. 1,000 Heartbeats by Kiera. She is a Christian author and she is amazing. She also wrote The Selection, which is another great one, but I love her. This was a pretty good book.
The Selection is the one where it's kind of like
it's The Bachelor.
Hunger Games meets The Bachelor.
Yeah.
But clean, because I did read that one. Yeah, I read the first one.
No, all of these are clean. It's a little bit slower, so if you can't stand slow books, you probably wouldn't like this book. I love this series. I have reread this series there's 4 books in it, 5th book coming out soon. The Inheritance Games is the first one.
Is this the 4th one?
This is the 4th one. I've read all 4. So good. It's a well, not necessarily a murder mystery. It's a mystery, and it's about...
This is fantasy?
No.
Oh, it's not fantasy?
It's just like fiction, but it's not realistic.
Would I like?
I actually think you would. You can have my copy. It's about this girl, and she is very poor, and she's living in her car. She doesn't like her sister's boyfriend, and so she goes to live in her car, and then she gets a call that's like, you are in this rich guy's will. And so they fly her out to the hearing, and she inherits all his money.
Okay, do not spoil it.
This book is so good, better than the movies. I read it twice, so good. A great summer read. I love Lynn Painter. She has these other 2. I wouldn't say I liked this one as much. If you like time, is that what it's called? Time Loops?
Oh, this is a time loop.
This is a time loop book. I didn't like it, but I love Lynn Painter. And then Betting on You, this is another great one. Shadow and Bone, 6 of Crows, all of these. They're super good. They're fantasy. They're really good. I liked all of them, I'd say.
Can we talk about this book? This book is in my top 5 of all time. And
I would agree with that.
I'm probably catching you too late because you've either read it or seen the movie. But if you have never read this book or seen this movie, seriously, this is one of my favorite books of all time. To me, Katniss Everdeen is one of the greatest characters ever created.
Ignore the fact that this is the graphic novel. Don't get the graphic novel. Read the real book. This series is so good. I ripped through it. There's 9.5 books. There's 9 books, and there's about to be a 9.5, and then there will be a 10th. If you haven't read Percy Jackson, what are you doing? There's a show out that's kind of popular right now. Walker Scobo. Walker, you're seeing this? I'm sure you've heard of Harry Potter if you're watching this. If you have access to YouTube, you've heard of Harry Potter. But if you haven't read it and you've only watched the movies, read it. It's so good.
If you're trying to get your kid into a book and you feel like they would like it, but they can't quite get into it, if you sit down with them and you read out loud the first chapter or 2, and then they like get it and they get the characters, then they'll go off on their own. Okay, here are a couple.
The rest of them, read on your own though. I would not read all of them.
If you have boys that you're trying to get into reading, like boys that are maybe 8 to 10, if you have never given them Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Or Treehouse.
Oh yeah, I didn't have that one here. Diary of a Wimpy Kid and also Big Nate are 2 series that my boys read every single book. All of my kids have read, there's 18 Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. All of my kids, even now, like I will bring this book home and Elijah and Graham will pick it up and read it in one sitting. So if you're really trying to get your boys into reading, Diary of a Wimpy Kid is the way to go. There's also a couple of movies, but obviously the books are better than the movie. Same
also,
Big Nate is this is a graphic novel if you're trying to get your boys into reading. Okay. Next we have Wonder. This is also a movie, and a lot of times this is like a 5th grade book that they read in school, but great book to read as a family. It's about a boy who has special needs and is having a hard time fitting into a new school. It's awesome. This book will make you cry. Movie's also great. Julia Roberts, can't go wrong. These 2 books are 2 of my all-time favorite. Charlotte's Web. This is a great book to read with your little kids for the summer. So I would say like 4, 5, 6. Excellent story. Great movie too.
I think you read that to me and Graham at the same time.
Did I? I know I read this to Elijah and Graham at one time, and then Abby and probably Graham sat there too. This is such a sweet story. Okay, now, Holes. This book is in my top 3 books of all time. Adult fiction, children's fiction. I hope you haven't seen the movie. Don't watch the movie. This book has the most amazing twist. about a kid who gets accused of stealing a pair of shoes, and he gets sent to like a reform camp situation where they have to dig a hole every day. And
I cried so many
don't
times
give
while we
anything
were
away.
reading that
Okay,
book.
this book, it's not really a tearjerker, but it is so good. This is my #1 recommendation, but don't read it to your kids unless they're like at least 3rd grade, because otherwise they won't get it. And anyway, I just want to end on one of my favorite books of all time, Holes by Louis Sachar. Thanks for joining us, Holly Furtick Book Club. Buy the hat, $20. Go to hollyfurtick.com, join the book club. It's mostly for grown-ups, but maybe we should do a kids version.
Shannon
Abby
Messenger?
wants to do Shannon Messenger. Go to hollyfurtick.com to sign up for the book club. We're just gonna send you an email and tell you what we're reading. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share it with someone who's going to the beach and needs some book recommendations, because there's always a Target near the beach. And that's it. We love you. We'll see you back here next time.